Hey YouTube, it's your boy TriniFX here, back with another daily recap. Alright, it's a bit late. I'm going to make this one short and sweet. Today's trading, if we look at yesterday, we saw price remained heavy for the day. Closed, Asia opened, we had a slight rally, and then price began to trade lower into these bullish fair value gaps on the hourly chart. So as usual, I start off on my higher time frame, mark off my fair value gaps above and below price, even mark off my liquidity level. So we had buy side here and sell side, which was taken in Asia. So let me take that off. All right, so price traded down at in London. It began to rally, inversing this SIBI, and ran higher. So we could see before market open, 8 o'clock candle took price higher, taking out Asia and tapping back into this hourly SIBI here. Couldn't take that high, but at least it tapped into the hourly SIBI and had a strong rejection. So as I got to my charts, I was noticing, for me, anytime midnight open runs lower from the get-go, I class that as a bearish day most of the times. Now it could be a New York reversal, but most of the times, because what I'm looking for is accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. Here, I'm not really seeing that here. It just began to trade lower from midnight open. It did find some support and was sending price higher. So it was 50-50 whether price was bullish or bearish on the day. So dropping down to my 15-minute time frame, we could see it respected these gaps in London, traded higher. So right before market opened, we had the strong rejection. However, we had these two 15-minute bullish fair value gaps. So I marked them off. 9:15 into 9:30, we already traded into this higher one. On 9:30, the market displaced into the lower bullish fair value gap. So when I saw that, I wanted to drop to my 1-minute chart to just see what price wanted to, if it wanted to run higher or if it was about to trade lower. So looking at the 1-minute chart, we traded down into the first gap, 9:30 opened. We wicked down into the lower 15-minute fair value gap, taking out the 8 o'clock low, and we began to displace higher. So I was looking at these two SIBIs on a 1-minute chart. If we wanted to go lower, price would have displaced below that low. However, we did have a strong displacement candle, but it was just retesting this 15-minute BISI. So I waited. I marked off my first presented fair value gap, and I wanted to see what price would have done. So price ran up, inversed the first presented fair value gap, this BISI, found support, and began to trade higher. So once this candle traded above and was finding support on this first presented fair value gap, we could also see a very tiny 1-minute fair value gap there as well. So let me just mark it off so it's visible so you guys could follow. Right, so this is also a 1-minute fair value gap. So price ran up, found some support, came back down into the first presented fair value gap. Once this green candle closed above these highs, that's where I marked my market structure shift. And as it closed on the second candle close, that's where I went long. And I put my stop right below the bodies of the candle, just targeting a 1-to-1. That's all you need, guys. 1-to-1 every day. You're consistent. So I targeted my 1-to-1, not to mention tomorrow is a bank holiday. So I just wanted to get my piece of the pie, which I did. Price traded higher. I took my profits, 1% risk, 1-to-1 risk to reward, and I exited the trade. I was expecting price to continue higher. So while I was at my desk doing other things, I was just looking at price, and I saw price rally, finding some support in this 1 minute bullish fair value gap and send price higher. So I was looking for the continuation for it to rally, take out this high, and then continue on to all-time highs. However, price ran up and then price displaced, inversing this 1 minute BC. So now it became an inversion fair value gap. And once I saw this big displacement, market structure shift, this was my intermediate low. It displaced below. That caught my attention. So this is a breaker, high, low, higher, high, broken. So that was my breaker. We also had a shift in market structure, and then it formed this SIBI. So all intents and purposes, this looked pretty good for us to go short. So I placed my limit, stop above the high of the candle. And once I got triggered, when price inversed this SIBI, you know, I was second guessing myself. However, I stayed patient. I went to my 5-minute chart to see, you know, if price was rejecting or finding some support. I couldn't see any, you know, fair value gaps or anything. So I just remained patient, dropped back down to my 1-minute chart and just monitored price. So once price traded in, inversed this SIBI, when I saw price close back below this SIBI and retest this initial inversion fair value gap and trade away, that gave me confidence that price was heading lower. So price traded lower, and you guys could check out my live execution. I did a walkthrough, so you guys could have understood my thought process. I'm just doing the daily recap here. So once price traded through this initial inversion fair value gap, I was confident it was going lower. Once it broke below there, this is another inversion fair value gap. And as we could see how these inversion fair value gaps and fair value gaps play a critical role in how price moves. On this initial one, we ran up, found support initially, sent price higher. Once it was broken, it became resistance, sent price lower. Once this found support initially, sent price higher. Once it was broken, we could see the candles trading back up into there and displacing. So once this candle displaced, this just became an order block, and we can see the candles tapping into it and displacing. So I was taking partials along the way, targeting these relative equal lows here initially, but as we could see, price just continued to displace lower for the remainder of the day. So this was the second trade execution. Beautiful trade, beautiful trade. I took this one on my live account and this one on my funded account. Now you don't need to trade both accounts every day. Some days I do, some days I just trade on one account. It's just up to you guys and how you want to manage your risk and manage your different accounts. So in all, it was a good end to the week. Tomorrow is our bank holiday, no trading. So we're just gonna do some back testing tomorrow and prepare for next week. So if you found some value in this trade recap, consider subscribing, share the video, and drop a comment, guys. I'd love to hear from you. Till we talk again, stay safe. Bye-bye.